celebration a mile high. They are headed Super Bowl 60.
Across this team, man. I'm going to the Super Bowl. That sounds pretty good.
The Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
What our team's been able to do up to this point and how they've done it, we're just blessed.
Yo, boys, ready? Hell yeah! Throw is made. Touchdown! Seahawks! No way! Absolutely drilled. Through that one. It's a shot downfield. Caught for the touchdown. Hell yeah!
Welcome back to First Take. We are live from San Francisco ahead of the Super Bowl. We got some more people now at the desk here. Marcus Spears is with us, and Cam Jordan, defensive end for the Saints, is here as well. And Cam, this segment's going to be for you because you faced both quarterbacks that are going to be in the Super Bowl in both Drake Maye and Sam Darnold. And in those games, the Seahawks defeated New Orleans. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to bring up losses here. 44-13 in Week 3. Darnold's 98 total QBR against the Saints was his highest against any team all season. Again, I'm so sorry for that. Meanwhile, the Patriots and Drake Maye also defeated the Saints 25-19. That was back in Week 6. So forget what happened in those actual games, but think about your mindset. And when you look at these two quarterbacks in Drake Maye and Sam Darnold, who's harder to game plan against?
How could I forget? I lived it. But that being said, you saw what Seattle was able to do defense-wise in playoffs. You saw what he was able to do special teams-wise in playoffs. It's easy to say, like, hey, which quarterback is harder to game plan? You say Sam Darnold. The weapons that he has. I mean, we talk about Cooper Kupp. Of course, we talk about JSN. I mean, we talk about Kenneth Walker, the way he's taken to the playoffs. If you're just looking at the last 3 games and judging by their last win, albeit the Seattle Seahawks, Sam Darnold's playing excellent.
Go ahead, Spears. Want to jump in?
Drake Maye. Drake Maye. Listen, I think Cam is talking about the totality of a football team. I'm talking about the individual. And Drake Maye bothers me more because of those critical plays that he's made. Think about the Houston game, the throw to Booty. That was out of the blue. His legs against Denver to seal the football game. Rushing, his legs were the most prominent thing that it was against Houston and Denver to get them out of situations. So when you look at both of these players, and here's what I'll say. Sam Darnold throughout these playoffs has rewritten what we think about him as a quarterback, especially this last game, Mad Dog, because Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator for Seattle, said, you go win the game. We were leading into that week saying, well, if Seattle can run it, they can win it, and they can do all of that. That game was on Sam Darnold because Matt Stafford played out of his mind. Sure did. He had to outplay Matt Stafford in that game.
Yep.
But Drake Maye, to me, presents the biggest problem because of the athleticism and the legs. I fear that more, especially with an aggressive defense like Seattle. If he finds those pockets on those third down, you guys are rushing, you feeling good, and he finds a little window and gets out and extends a drive. And New England has lived on the edge. Right. They have not dominated a game they played in. Drake Maye has been the reason for these playoff games going the way that they've gone. So right now, I would be more fearful of Drake Maye, the individual, than I would be of Sam Darnold.
I'm with Swag on this. My answer to this question was Drake Maye. First and second downs this year, 46 carries, 330 yards, 16 first downs. That's something that they utilize. You scrambling on first and second down. You know, those are orchestrated run plays. You know, you want your quarterback to be a threat, to keep the secondary honest, because you got to keep him. Because he can run with the football. Then I'm looking at these two playoff games. Two playoff games that they had thus far this year. Right, 125 yards on 9 carries and 6 first downs. That's what I'm thinking about, because I'm looking at Booty, I'm looking at Diggs, and I'm saying, all right, you're going up against the Seattle defense, who, by the way, have been missing tackles. Let's make sure they've improved about that in the postseason. Missed a lot of tackles in the regular season. So, obviously, if you could get into their secondary yards after the catch, it's something that they've been vulnerable to throughout this regular season and to a lesser degree in the postseason. But when you couple all of that with the fact that you got an opposing quarterback that can run with the football, that Josh McDaniel will call running plays for, look at how they secured the AFC Championship game. You know what I'm saying? Look at how they pulled that off when you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you because the damn blizzard was coming down.
In the second half, but the first half, it's not like, again, it's not like he's been lights out.
No, I'm not saying
that. This playoff run, he hasn't been like, oh, man.
I'm just talking about the threat, because both of them are top 5 defense. I mean, Seattle's number 1, but New England's a top 5 defense. And so when you look at Sam Darnold, even though he showed up in the postseason, during the regular season against San Francisco, for example, you win 41-6 in a divisional playoff game, but you won 13-3 in a regular season game. So you've seen times where Seattle's offense has struggled, and you anticipate that New England will have New England's defense will have something to say about it. The reason why most people would look at Seattle and say they're the better team, they should be the favorites to win the Super Bowl, is because we've got questions about New England's offense. But if Drake Maye is running with the football effectively and really moving the chains and getting first downs, that could be problematic.
Well, he had 3 great runs in the AFC Championship game. He had a 28-yard run in the first drive, third quarter, which set up the field goal. Early in the first half, he had the quarterback draw for the touchdown on second down, and then he ran on 3rd and 6 for the first down to win the game, which killed me. I had Harvey with the receptions, and he didn't get the ball back. But that's another side. I told you that. I got killed. But
He's a gambling degenerate.
Oh, I love it. I love it. But I don't have a problem. You be careful.
Before we came out of break, you was telling me how you got crushed. You're going to tell me after. I'm sorry I had to put our business out there.
What are you doing?
Man, dog, that's my bad.
Look at these things. What are we doing here?
I'm snitching. My bad.
I will say this, though, with what Cam said. I think the key to the game for New England is how Sam Darnold plays.
I got you.
Because if Sam Darnold plays well, I don't think the Patriots can win. I think Seattle's better.
Yep.
I think for the Patriots to win the game, Stidham didn't play well. Herbert didn't play well. Stroud was terrible.
Yep.
I think for them to win the game, he's going to have to fumble once, throw an interception. He didn't do that against the Rams. They played great. He didn't do it in the fourth quarter against the Rams. He didn't have to do anything against San Francisco. He didn't do it in the fourth quarter against the Rams in December.
Yep.
They won the game. So I think, based on what Cam said, if Darnold plays well, my personal feeling is I don't think the Patriots.
But I'm curious to see if New England's offense is going to play well, because we bring up the opposition in the postseason. The Chargers had 2 offensive, Slater and Alt out for they were both out. Okay, you go up against Houston. Nico Collins is out. Schultz goes down. You go in the AFC Championship game. You got a backup quarterback because Bo Nix is out, and Jarrett Stidham's your quarterback, and a blizzard helped you in the second half. So I'm looking at all of them. And New England, they started the game with 4-3 and outs. Started the AFC Championship game with that. So I'm really interested in seeing what New England's offense is really going to do.
Against the number 1 scoring defense in Seattle Seahawks. Against Byron Murphy. Against Leo Williams. Against DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, come on.
So, but here's where I a little bit don't say it's a wash, Mad Dog, and Seattle's the better team. The 3 defenses that New England has played were top 5.
Yes.
So it was going to be tough sledding anyway.
Right.
Now you add inclement weather. You add a young offensive line that is – the left side of the offensive line is a problem.
Yeah.
And Drake Maye has overcome that.
That's true.
with his ability. So, look, when you play Denver, when you play the Chargers, and we talked about the Houston Texans winning the game on defense. And he was able to throw 3 touchdowns in that game, no matter how it looked. He got sacked, fumbled. It wasn't like he was giving the ball away in a crazy way. He was getting hit by Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter a lot and fumbling the football. They recovered it. It takes some luck in the playoffs to get there. But when you think about this New England Patriots offense, right, they've weathered a storm way harder than the Seattle Seahawks have. We had questions about the Rams defense coming into the playoffs after we saw them play the Atlanta Falcons. We obviously had questions about the Chicago Bears defense. So you look at the NFC side through the road of this playoffs, and you look at the AFC side, regardless of how it has looked from the New England Patriots, they played Denver, the Chargers, and Houston. And we were talking about the Texans being on a historical defensive run. Now you get Seattle. I got all the respect in the world for Seattle defense. There is no difference in Seattle than Houston, though. There is, if you brought an argument to television and said, which defense, pre-playoffs, which defense would you take out of Houston and Seattle? It might go 50-50. It would not be a wash that Seattle is just clearly the best. New England has weathered a storm, and Denver was considered the number 1 defense for a long time, led the league in sacks. So there's a lot that New England can go into this game from confident that they played those 3 defenses going up against Seattle.
And I will say New England's defense is no slouch either. They've only given up 16 points throughout the playoffs. Well. My goodness. Yeah. But I want to let Cam defend himself a little because he jumped out and said Harden was harder to game plan against. So what does New England's defense have to do?
I'm thinking totality. Again, they Cooper Kupp, JSN. You talk about Kenneth Walker. They have the weapons to be better. So when you say game plan, it's not just the 90 yards that Drake Maye had last game through the air and the 67 yards he had on ground, 68 yards he had on the ground. No, it's Sam Darnold being able to keep up with Matt Stafford. It's Sam Darnold being able to step through the pocket, knowing blitzes are coming, take those hits, and deliver those passes. It's the ability that he has to know that when he's coming, I'm still going to get hit, so let me make this count.
But there's a flip side.
Cam learned it. Cam learned it. He just changed the question. That's what he did.
Politics that a little bit, didn't I know.
There's a flip side, though, because we saw Sam Darnold do his thing with 346 yards passing and 3 touchdowns against Los Angeles. But that Rams defense was nothing to brag home about, okay? That's not New England's defense. And so if you're New England and somehow, some way you can neutralize Seattle offensively and let's say limit them to 20 points, 23 points or whatever, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
That's really the question mark here because we know that if Seattle is going to do what it's been doing in these 2 playoff games offensively, New England has no chance. But if you can keep Seattle within range, 20, 23 points max, you can make a game of it. It could get interesting.
By the way, a little hot shot. ESPN had the Houston-New England game, and right before with the pregame, you had Houston 24-14.
I did.
I call my guy. Bet Houston, you owe me some money.
Here
with a little sneak cap. With a little sneak cap.
I don't know what money line is. I don't want to know what the money line is. I'm still active.
Mad Dog has a good friend named Fat Rob who knows every money line.
Cam does not need to know Fat Rob yet. Okay, he's still an active player. Let's not get him in trouble.
I'm scared to know what over and under means.
Exactly. I want to ask a question to Cam, though, really quick. Does it scare anyone? Does it scare you a little bit that the Seahawks have not played a team not in the NFC West since December? I mean, these are teams that they've been very familiar with throughout the playoffs in the last game of the season. Does it matter?
The NFC West was sort of the division that was competing with themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the playoff bracket and I said, all right, I already know Rams, Seattle, going to be in the NFC Championship. I looked at that early, and was I right? Absolutely. I looked at the weapons. I looked at who they had. I looked at defense. I mean, I knew exactly what happened. So we're talking about the AFC. I said, I've played those teams. I played the NFC. I said, I am more paying attention to how Sam Darnold plays in big games.
Well, I said earlier, my bad, I said earlier Chicago. It was San Francisco. That defense was bad. So Seattle hasn't really played anybody to the caliber of New England's defense.
I'll say one quickie, and I'll echo what Steve said. Herbert didn't play well, 2 left tackles. Stroud was terrible. The whole team was hurt. 4 picks in the first half. And then Stidham, a terrible turnover, threw an interception late, and Peyton doesn't kick a field goal at 7-0, which was a disaster. So they got help in each of their games. If they don't get help against Seattle, meaning Darnold, they're not winning. They need to get a couple of possessions. That's basically
they need to get Stephon Diggs going.
I'm not ready to say that, man. I just think this team played against 3 really good defenses.
Right.
Because we're talking about offense right now. Like, I get it. Like, the variables of every game is going to, at some point, institute themselves. Well, the New England Patriots have played the top 3 defenses in the league, and they're about to play another one in the Super Bowl, and they've won those games in bad situations.
You're not wrong. It's just a different argument when you're pointing about the opposing offenses they had to go against.
I get it, Stephen.
And so when you look at Njigba, when you look at Cuff, when you look at Bobo and the crew, you look at Kenneth Walker, who's a 1,000-yard rusher, Charbonnet goes down, and what we're looking at, we're saying, okay, what they're going to do, but then you remember that Kenneth Walker averaged 4.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So you're looking at all of those things, and you're saying with the way Sam Darnold's been flinging that football, they can put up some points.
100%.
If you have problems putting up points against that New England defense, the question is, what do you really look at New England's offense being? Because even as effective as they were during the regular season, they had the weakest schedule in the NFL since 1999. So you're looking at them and you're saying, damn, regular season, weak schedule, playoffs, Chargers, Texans, Broncos. Boy, it was convenient. Just luck, divine intervention showering down upon you. You do get the impression it ends now. All that stuff goes out the window. Now what are you made of? We about to find out.
Yeah, got a couple more days to discuss this, too, as we look forward.